Hi, I'm Ken Seeley, board-registered interventionist, work with Intervention 911. I've been conducting interventions for about 10 years now, helping families get their loved ones into treatment. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to do this kind of work, because watching somebody come out of such a dark place and getting them into recovery is just a gift. It's just a gift. The reason why I opened up Ken Seeley Recovery Community is because in all the years of working in this field, I've seen that they changed the model from 30 days to 90 days of inpatient. But then for mostly the young adults that just can't get it after 90 days and they need that continuum level of care and some support, there was a void there. There was a void where people didn't have the heavy structure necessary to really help assist them in those early months of recovery. 90 days is great for inpatient. And then when you finish that, doing some intensive outpatient and sober living and having some kind of structure in our life, kind of like for life skills. I mean, it's really difficult for young adults to have those life skills when they start using drugs at an early age, and they just don't have those skills that they need to have a successful life. So this community is really to help support each other on showing different behaviors that the community recognize in their peers and say, hey, if you try this differently or you try that differently, maybe we'll get a different result. And let's take the tools that we learned while we were in treatment and take those tools and apply them in our everyday life. So this is a great opportunity and a space to do that in. So really what we're trying to do here is really start to measure the behaviors of people, looking at the behaviors that tend to lead towards the relapse. We don't have to wait for the relapse if we could watch the behaviors that are leaning towards it and help to modify them and guide them to other behaviors that might get them into, their recovery process. So I'd rather look at the behaviors early and catch them versus waiting for the full-blown relapse. Because once you go back into full-blown relapse, you're starting back at ground zero. It's the whole process over again, getting them back engaged in treatment, getting them back engaged in their recovery. So I'd rather catch the behavior early on and then address that there than waiting for the full-blown relapse.
Well, kicking up and not kicking out is really a philosophy that we feel is important to have here. You've probably seen lots of people in your time who, for whatever reason, they may have a relapse in treatment or in sober living or at some point in their life. And unfortunately, what happens is if you kick that person out, it's like a lose-lose situation. They don't get the help that they need. They may need a higher level of care, which really allows them to stabilize and get back into their program. Or the person doing the kicking out may lose the opportunity to really work with that person. So we find it's really important to not kick out, but kick up. And by that I mean we identify kind of what will be the next level of care, what's going to be appropriate. Is it going to be a detox stabilization, or is it going to be a more inpatient treatment, a three-quarter house, something that gives them more structure, something that gives them an ability to kind of get stable and be able to continue on in their recovery process.
So really what we're trying to do also is really help people get on a track, getting into recovery for, reaping the benefits of what recovery has to offer. Because it's not about just not using the drug or not drinking. It's learning new behaviors to get that life that they all deserve. Every one of you deserve that life. It's out there for you. But if you don't change the behaviors and you just stop drinking and using, you're not going to get the life that you deserve. You're going to just live in what they would call a dry drunk. You're going to live in misery. You won't have the alcohol and drugs to numb it, but you're not going to be happy. I've watched it happen so many times. I want to give you the opportunity to really be happy in your life, and most importantly, be happy in your skin. I mean, that's the hardest part. How do you get happy in here with who you are? I mean, that was a really difficult thing for me to accomplish, and I had people that guided me through that. And what we're doing now, instead of waiting for 10 years for that process to happen, let's excel it, let's push it, let's hold people's feet to the fire. Let's get them engaged in it right here while they're here in early recovery and see how far we could push that so they could have a better life sooner than later.